Lawsuits are going to take years, but I will prevail. There's a hearing coming up, and I'm going to have it overlooked by the administrators of the RTDRS because there's no way that they should be allowed to overlook human rights violations. There's no way that that is allowed for them to just disregard completely because, well, technically it didn't violate the RTA. The human rights are what govern the RTA. The RTA is in alignment to the Alberta Human Rights Act. And if the associates that are governing the RTA are not acting in alignment with the Alberta Human Rights Act, that opens up the province to liability. That's how you end up with big changes on a federal level. That's how you get federal laws governing more heavily to the province. You don't want the federal government to be interfering, right? Because that's how you get laws from Ontario, like stuff from Ontario, setting precedents for Alberta. You don't want Alberta to have cash for keys going on, okay? Because that's what's happening in Ontario right now. That's a surefire way to have everything across the board brought evenly. So don't bring that here. That's not good for the landlords, right? So if your job is to govern the RTA, then your job is to look out for the best interest of not just the tenants, but also the landlords. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep it equal. Because as long as you're governing only for the best interest of the landlords, that's a violation of Section 1. The whole purpose of the Residential Tenancy Act, that's Section 1. The intentions of it are not to allow landlords to benefit from misconduct. That's not the purpose of it. So, acting in bad faith, that's the good faith clause of the Residential Tenancy Act. That is what sets it in alignment to the Alberta Human Rights Act. They have to act in good faith. And what just happened to my family, that was not in good faith. That was horrific. It was vindictive and spiteful. It was all for revenge. And I'm concerned that I may have exposed a ring of people doing very bad things to children. And the only way to find out whether I'm correct about that is to proceed with the court and trigger a formal investigation on the development. Because what if that's true? What if this whole place was just a facade in order to bring in vulnerable families so that they could take advantage of those vulnerable families and exploit their children? What if it's true? But what if it's not? It doesn't matter. It don't present a what if unless you're going to set the what if to both sides. What if it is? What if it isn't? What if it is? Right? Like, it's not a coincidence. Any of these occurrences, it's not a coincidence. So I got the police involved with a child that was being exploited in the complex, not even knowing who all was involved in the abuse of that child. The neighbors were involved. I didn't know if it was just strangers involved. I don't even know if the management was involved. But I knew the child was in danger, and I wasn't willing to sit and just wait for somebody else to give a shit. Something. And then immediately, upon doing something about it, all fucking hell breaks loose. Is that a coincidence? No, I don't think so. I filed against first of all, I threatened to go to the RTA on October 3rd. Within hours of doing so, they sent men to my door to intimidate us. That's not a coincidence. I filed against them on the 8th of October, and on the 16th of October, started losing power to my unit, and I was the only unit that was losing power for indefinite periods of time. That was not an accident. That's no coincidence. That's not a coincidence. Within 5 days of me fixing the electrical, our heat started going out. Their refusal to fix it? That's not a coincidence. That was plain out refusal to fix it. Texting me and telling me that they're not going to fix it because I'm live streaming in my home? That's not a coincidence. But that's fully intentional. And I have it in text messages. All of these things into consideration, it shows a pattern of a landlord that really wanted me fucking gone. As soon as I showed any willfulness to bring police to the complex. They do not want cops around. And people that are doing shady shit, they are the ones that don't want cops around. If you're doing something that's illegal, you're not going to want the cops around. This was the last place, yes. And one of the final things that the landlord had to say in the hearing, the very last hearing, was there's been increased police activity in her home, and that's another reason why we want her gone. So they don't want the police there. Why? They don't like police presence. Why? Okay, everything that they've done, they're like, no, none of this is coincidence. It didn't just happen to be this way. This was very deliberate. They're hiding something. Now that I'm away from there, there's no threat of physical violence from them. They can try lateral violence through the internet, but it's not gonna be easy for them. They're gonna waste a lot of goddamn time, that's for sure. I've become an expert in defending myself on the internet, and I can hardly wait to start implementing some of these new things, because it's just gonna be so much easier and a bit funnier for me. Because every time they fail at something, it makes me laugh.